Welcome, dear listener. You are tuned to a Christian voice in your home. This is Radio Maria. I welcome you to the Sunday reflection. Today is the 19th Sunday in the ordinary time. The readings of the day, the first reading, 1 Kings chapter 19, verse 4 to 8. The responsorial psalm, Psalm 34, verse 2 to 3, 4 to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The second reading, St. Paul's letter to the Ephesians, chapter number 4, verse 30 to chapter 5, verse 2. The Gospel according to John, chapter 6, verse 14 to 51. Dear listener, allow me to read the Gospel. The Jews then murmured at him because he said, I am the bread which came down from heaven. They said, Is not this Jesus, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know? How does he now say, I have come down from heaven? Jesus answered them, Do not murmur among yourselves. No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I will raise him up at the last day. It is written in the prophets, and they shall be taught by God. And anyone who has heard and learned from the Father comes to me. That anyone has seen the Father except him who is from God. He has seen the Father. Truly, truly I say to you, he who believes has eternal life. I am the bread of life. Your fathers ate manna in the wilderness, and they died. This is the bread which comes down from heaven, that a man may eat of it and not die. I am the living bread which came down from heaven. If anyone eats of this bread, he will live forever. And the bread which I shall give for the life of the world is my flesh. The Holy Gospel of the Lord. In meditating the word of the Lord this beautiful Sunday, dear listener, I want to give you the theme, Jesus is the bread of life. And Jesus being the bread of life, he is invited you to taste and see the goodness of the Lord. I want to ask you a question. Do you feel like breaking down? Because Jesus is the bread of life. Today's reading, dear listener, especially the first reading, 1 Kings chapter 19, verse 4 to 8, addresses you who is feeling like you are breaking down. God is empowering his prophet. From Elijah's perspective, things were not fair. He had been an eyewitness of God's faithfulness and power. During his ministry, God manifested his power. God cared for him during the 3-year drought. God demonstrated his power through him by defeating the prophets of Baal on top of Mount Carmel. But Elijah is breaking down, dear listener. Angry words from Israel's pagan queen Jezebel. Elijah turns tail and runs away. He becomes despondent and cowering under the broom tree, suffering defeat at the moment of victory. You know what, dear listener? Elijah's real problem was that he had lost his focus. He was turning in on himself. He was breaking down. And that is why some of us feel, dear listener. Are you feeling like you are breaking down like Elijah? The Israelites had rejected God's covenant. broken down his altars and put the prophets to death with a sword. And so Elijah was feeling, breaking down, dejected. And he was the only one left. And now they are trying to kill him too. He heads to the broom tree. So we head also to the broom tree when we feel everything is going against us. Do you feel it, dear listener? Some of us try to hide, whining and complaining. Some of us hide in turning into workaholic, thinking we can pull ourselves out of despair by our own bootstraps. Some try to find solace in drinking and other vices. If at any time, dear listener, you feel inclined to say it is enough, and you feel you cannot bear the burden of life anymore, do not do as Elijah did and flee into silence and solitude and hide under your own broom tree. There is another tree that you and I need to go. The tree of the Lord. The tree of Jesus. That's why he's saying in the gospel, I am the bread of life. God saved Elijah and he gave him the mission. So Jesus is saying, come to me. Come with me to the tree where God's Son suffered and died. God is giving us food and strength for the journey of our lives. Dear listener, God will not let Elijah go and eat worms. God sent an angel to bring Elijah food and drink to sustain him for his journey. And God told the prophet that he was not alone. And God is telling you, dear listener, today, you are not alone. He sent an angel to Elijah. Maybe this message is a message dedicated to you because you are saying it is enough. But in front of God, it is not enough. You are not alone.